Okay, we are live, but we got to let it breathe just for a couple of moments while we bring on Facebook, we bring on Instagram. Oh no, at least it's, oh no, man. At least one of them's working tonight. I still don't get this. I'm going to start. Welcome in, everybody. It's the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen, and with me is my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, it's kind of been a quiet, sleepy weekend relative to Broncos country and whatnot. There are a few topics and storylines I want to get to, but what a bummer for the Denver sports market, though, seeing the Nuggets go out the way they did in Game 7, getting blown out. Very uncharacteristic, especially with how tight that series was. So RIP to the Nuggets season. Let's hope maybe the Broncos can give people something to smile about in 2025.
Yeah, I'm a bigger football guy than I am basketball, so I don't want to speak out of school too much here, but it does suck for the Nuggets and Nuggets Nation or whatever they call themselves, the fan base. What I understand, the Thunder and what I saw, the Thunder were a better team, and just how it goes sometimes. But as long as you have the best player in the world, which the Nuggets do, they'll be just fine for years to come.
He is a phenomenal player, the Joker. Unbelievable. I'm just trying real quick, guys. One last time, I'm going to try and reconnect to Facebook, but if not, I'll go move the pod stream to the big page. But Zack, your gut reaction a couple days ago, whatever it was, Brock Purdy getting paid. We'll call it roughly, what was it, 53 million per year. We can get into the structure and whatnot, but before we start talking about implications for the Broncos, I mean, Bo Nix is still obviously years away from even being eligible, but still, your gut reaction just to the deal itself for Brock Purdy.
Quarterbacks get paid in the NFL. If you're at least average or above average, you're going to get these market commensurate contracts and even market resetting contracts. Brock Purdy is a much better quarterback than he gets credit for. And it's the same as when Dak Prescott got paid, Chad. He gets a lot of crap too. Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. And if you're a good quarterback in the NFL, you're going to get that money. And I dread a couple years from now, the conversations and the discourse around Bo Nix, how much he deserves, whether he deserves it, 300 mil, 400 mil, whatever. It's going to be unbearable from the people who don't believe he deserves to get paid, but he's a good quarterback and he's going to get paid. It's a matter of time. Brock Purdy did. It's just how the NFL goes.
No doubt about it. It's great to see so many familiar faces. We got the Papa Bear jumping in early with a super chat. Great to see you, David. Much love and respect. Appreciate the super chat saying, good evening, Broncos country. Chad, Zach, Deacon, Scott, 13-4 plus. Hashtag God bless the USA. Let's go, Bo. MHH for life. Broncos for life. Buckham times 3. Then he says, Zach, I believe we win all 9 home games. That would be sweet, baby. That would be sweet. It's going to be a long war of attrition, Zach. 17 games, 18 weeks. We'll see how it shakes out, but I'm feeling really good about a 10-plus win season.
You got the London trip. You got the game on Christmas night at Kansas City, but those are obviously away games. The Broncos, what were they, 6-2, Chad, at home last season? They were definitely impressive under Sean Payton with Bo Nix. I don't see why that's going to change. The toughest matchup, arguably, I think it's at Philly. They're playing the Eagles at Philly. So if they just play their brand of football, they're going to hold their own, David, at home or away.
I'm just putting this stream real fast because I'm not going to try to keep connecting to the main Facebook page. So I'm putting the pod stream. We're live over here, y'all. Sorry, guys. Got to do that. This has been a thorn in our side since November. They still haven't fixed this. But Papa Bear, 9 games, winning them all. I love it, big dog. Yeah, the Purdy deal, Zach, it's basically a 3-year deal based on the guaranteed money. Yep. If you are the Niners relative to his injury history and maybe perhaps not the Niners having concerns, but there are some people that do question Brock Purdy's staying power and how much of what we've seen up to this point relative to his draft pedigree. I'm not saying this. I'm just giving you devil's advocacy. Has been fool's gold, so to speak. But Bo Nix, he had to have been going, yeah, get that, Brock, because he knows if he stays on the path and he continues to provide even like plausible individual production and the Broncos continue to win, oh, dude, 60 million by the time he becomes eligible, like per year, that's the floor. Now, Purdy, he does have under his belt and resume, Zach, a Super Bowl berth and some accolades and whatnot. So Bo's got some working to get up to kind of even that level, but he had to have been stoked to see that.
Yeah, Bo, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, the younger crop of quarterbacks that are the next generation, they're in line to get paid. And Bo, listen, you can say what you want about him. He was the 12th overall pick. He was a first-round pick despite the detractors. He led the Broncos, a wayward franchise, Chad, that was irrelevant for a decade, back to the postseason, a win season. He shattered multiple records along the way. If he just continues that course, he is going to get a bag, whether the haters like it or not.
String Guy, great to see you. Appreciate you contributing to the conversation. He says, next season, the Russ cap hell goes away. I would expect Denver to invest in some top free agents and make a legit Super Bowl run. Knicks will be in year 3. Harvey, Bryant, year 2. It should be fun. Yeah, the worst of it's already in the books, but I think, Zach, the main reason the Broncos have been able to roll with those punches of cutting Russell Wilson was a record dead money cap hit has been the emergence of Bo Nix. And not only that, but last year the Broncos went skinny, really relying on their draft class and the youth of the roster. Youth meaning guys still playing on their rookie contracts. And it redounded to a great success and a lot of discoveries and guys who emerged, including Bo Nix. But yeah, you gotta make some hay, Zach, in the win column while the sun's shining on that Bo Nix rookie contract, because hey, cap voodoo is a thing. There's always a way around certain things. Like, teams figure it out, but $60 million or so by the time Bo Nix becomes eligible for an extension, that's a lot. That's a lot to absorb and still maintain a competitive roster. That's where things really start getting tricky.
And this is why we're saying, with all the extension candidates the Broncos have now under the Bo Nix rookie contract, just get them done while you have the cap space and don't wait and kind of cram everything into that window, which I hope the Broncos will be doing. But it's a good point as well, because you have to worry about the sophomore slump from Bo Nix. They do say that young players, the third year is when they break out, especially quarterbacks. So you might be right there. It might be the Super Bowl or bust mentality in 2026.
Ronk, so good to see you, big dog, checking in. You found us on Facebook, my friend, and I'm glad to hear that. The main channel, it's not wanting to connect with StreamYard tonight, so it's streaming. This is why Facebookers, you want to make sure you're following both the Mile High Huddle main page, which is the one struggling to connect tonight, and the Mile High Pod page on Facebook, because most of the time when we have problems with one StreamYard, the other one will connect. And so you're always going to find us on Facebook. And when all else fails, we never have problems connecting to YouTube. So root YouTube. Ronk, great to see you. Guys, some super chats stacking up real quick before we get to them. We got to bring your attention to this time of year that we're chilling in. I mean, hey, spring, it's in full bloom. The flowers are doing their thing. Your grass is starting to grow a lot faster. The yard, hopefully you've got it, curtailed and manicured. It's starting to look pretty good. But listen, DraftKings Casino rolls on. New offers, 2 promos. They're sprouting up daily. Right now, new players can play $5 on anything and get 350 casino spins instantly on a featured slot game. So you download the app, sign up with our code, MileHighPod, and take the featured slot for a spin, exploring also thousands of other games in the DraftKings library, Zach.
That's right. Check back daily to claim the hottest offers and promos on DraftKings Casino, and don't forget our code MileHighPod. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Connecticut and Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins. Valid for featured game only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends June 15th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern.
All right. We have got the Duchess checking in on Super Chat. Great to see you, Michaela. Much love.
Thank you, Michaela.
She says, is it just me thinking those contracts are insane? Not just football. Yeah, I mean, nowadays, look, it's not quite apples to apples, but I was watching a why the 90s were the best era for NBA basketball video on YouTube this weekend while I was working, just kind of having it playing in the background. And it got around to like 1996 or 7. I can't remember the exact year, but mid to late 90s when Shaq, hit free agency, right? And he went from Orlando to LA, becoming a Laker and all that, and how he broke the bank, 100 plus, first pro athlete to secure a $100 million contract. And that Michael Jordan back then, through some finaglings of the NBA rules, was able to clock 30 million per year. That was Michael Jordan, like peak Michael Jordan, right smack dab in the middle of their second three-peat. That was then. I mean, the Joker in Denver, Zach, makes $50 million salary today.
Right.
It's insane. That's NBA. But just to think, Michaela, when Peyton Manning signed, right, biggest free agent fish at the time in the history of the NFL, he got a 5-year, $96 million contract, which averaged out to basically 19 or so million per year. Chump change today, Zach, for the going quarterback rate, and it's far outpacing the rate of inflation. I mean, inflation got crazy, pardon me, over the last preceding 4 years or so. But Zach, the quarterback market and just NFL salaries in general have far outpaced the standard. Crazy.
Yeah, remember Albert Hainsworth in 2010 or 2012, whenever it was, got that $100 million contract. That was
Right.
extreme back then, Chad. And now, number 2, number 3 wide receivers are getting that sort of money. So it comes along with the times, Michaela. There's two schools of thought. You either think these guys who are playing a kid's game don't deserve to get millions upon millions of dollars, but then you have to realize it's such a specialized field. There's only 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL in the entire world. That's such a specialized position when you talk about employment. Now, for the really good ones, there's maybe a handful, 5. So 5 of billions of people in the world can do what they do. There's a case that they deserve that type of money. And as Scott brought up, the TV contracts and how popular sports become and all the money that the NFL is making, they can afford to be paying these salaries. But it comes along with the territory if you've been following the NFL. It's been trending in that direction for a decade now.
And honestly, you're worth what the market says it'll pay you. You're worth what the market will bear. And that's what NFL ownership and front offices are willing to bear nowadays. So yeah, it is insane. It's crazy. Pro sports contracts are off the chain. Eric Holt, what's up, bro? He says, hey guys, thank God we don't have to pay Bo now, but he will earn his money. Got us going 12-5 or 11-6 for the love of Broncos country. Get RJ another number. Let's go Broncos. Well, we kind of got the impression during rookie minicamp, Zach, when they made last Saturday, not yesterday, but the day before, or Saturday before, when they made the rookies available for a little bit of press time. Zadeh, that's still so weird rolling off the tongue when I know it's a J. But either way, Barron, he's like, yeah, the 12, it's what I have for now. But, so I don't think his 12 is permanent. Harvey didn't really speak to his number much, but it wouldn't shock me, Zach, if he changed his number, because that was Audric Estime's number last year before he changed to 23 after cuts. The year prior, it was Riley Moss's number before he eventually changed. It used to be PJ Locke's number before he changed to 6. So we'll see. But the tail end of his career at UCF, Zach, Harvey did wear 7, and there's a 3 in front of it, but there is a 7 in the 37. So I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of people have been saying this on Twitter, including to me in some of my replies, of how bad RJ Harvey's number is 37. And I kind of agree, I guess. It's not the sexiest running back number. He would look good in a single digit. Like you mentioned, 7. I know how, immortal that is in Broncos country. Maybe something like 1 or 3. Another, cursed number. But yeah, 37. This is why I say don't buy jerseys from young players or rookie players, because they're so prone to change it before the season and over the course of their career. Hopefully he will, Eric.
So 22 and 23 are pretty locked in terms of the player is solid. So Brandon Jones is 22. He's pretty solid. He's not going anywhere. Same with Estime entering year 2. You look at, here's what I think in terms of double-digit numbers, Zach. If he changes it, it would be for maybe 27, and that's currently sported by Damari Mathis. But one other semi-famous Bronco running back rocked the 27, and that was Noshawn Moreno. We all know who the most famous 27 is of all time, and that's Steve Atwater. But in the single digits, Zach, what do we got available? 0 is Cooper. 1 is Evan Ingram. 2 is Pat Surtain. 3 is Will Lutz. There is no 4. And, of course, 7's off the table. 5 is Trent Sherfield, the free agent wide receiver / special teamer. Then PJ Locke, of course, 6. Jarrett Stidham is 8. That's not going anywhere. Talanoa Hufanga chose the number 9. So when you think, okay, 7's off the table, that leaves you 4. The only other numbered single digit available to any player would be the number 4. So I don't know. I think it doesn't bother me. I think there's an opportunity for him, PJ Locke, Zach, to create some mystique of his own for any number he chooses. Might as well be 37.
Sure, yeah, I would prefer 4 would be nice on him, and I would pay Trent Sherfield if I was him to get 5 and dispel the Teddy Bridgewater era chat a little bit with that number. But yeah, I think like Chad said, he's going to be good with no matter what number he chooses to ultimately wear.
No doubt. But 12 is kind of weird for what it's worth. I mean, if we're talking numbers here, I'll just do a little, we're on the subject, so let's do it for a second here. Let me do a little share screen, and we can have a scratch and sniff exercise together. Yep, go ahead. There we go. So let me blow this up a little bit. Zach, tell me how it looks on the screen. Is that readable?
Yeah, that's good now.
Is that good? Okay. So, we just went through the single digits. Let me get to the bottom. You got your boy Bo at 10, 12. I don't know why it's not showing up because they have do they have the rookies listed down here? Oh, because they're unsigned. That's why. So Barron unsigned, Harvey unsigned. Don't let not your heart be troubled. That'll be rectified soon. So 12, 37. All right. So back up here. I'm just looking at available numbers. Like if he's going to change, like there's a reason he took 37, but who are some of the guys that could maybe be gone currently holding a number like Joshua Pickett, for example?
Burton.
I wonder why the Broncos or why PJ Harvey was like, yeah, I'll take 37 over 25, for example. Michael Burton's probably not going anywhere, but 20, I think, would look dope on PJ. You get up into, there's no 24, is that currently, for what it's worth. But, wait a minute. They got 2 25s. I'm tripping there. So that's a temporary. So that must be that must be the 24 is Joshua Pickett. All right. Because, Blake Watson's got the 25. Devin Key. Yeah. Pickens are slim, bro. I mean, 33 or 37. What would you like better? And Javonte was 33. So it's kind of like, nah, I'm going to take 37 if you're PJ Locke.
Like you said, estimate was 37. There's no real good choice. Everyone's going to find a way to complain. I mean, like you said again, bro, he's going to make his own way in his uniform, and that's going to be the case.
What is it that Kamara rocks? Isn't it a 43, right? If memory serves. If Keydron Smith doesn't stick, I would like that on Locke better than 37 for what it's worth. But anyway, numbers and the mystique surrounding them are always fun. It's a thing. And this time of year, why not, guys? Why not spend 5 minutes on our segment? The Rock saying that RJ Quadzilla Harvey needs a new number because 37 is not a running back number. Yeah, I mean, I did.
Number.
It is, Zach. I did a research analysis on who's held the number 37 when the numbers were announced. And in terms of like playing under it for a while, there really isn't anybody. Like the only running back that kind of stuck around for a minute off the top of my head that I can recall that rocked 37 was Jeremiah Johnson, if you guys remember that guy.
I'm going to take a wild guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know why I associate the number with him. Lorenzo Doss, wasn't he 37?
You know what? Let's see.
The defensive back?
It doesn't show it on. Oh, yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Crazy.
Yeah,
crazy
so
what you remember.
Here's just like notable names of recent Bronco canon to rock it. So Tony Carter rocked it back in the day. Not sticky hands Tony Carter, different Tony Carter. Lorenzo Doss, as you mentioned, let's see, 2011, the guy I mentioned, Jeremiah Johnson. Then you have PJ Locke, Calvin Lowry rocked it back in 08. Let's see, Marlon Mack temporarily. He wasn't here long, right? He came in off the waiver wire in 2022. He rocked it. Riley Moss, we've mentioned. Cecil Sapp, that's right. That's another running back that stuck around for a minute that rocked 37. He played a little fullback and was like a backup running back during the tail end of the Shanahan era. And then that's really it, Zach. Cody Sensabaugh for a cup of coffee in 2019.
Not too much history behind it. So hopefully if RJ sticks with that number, he'll make that famous in Broncos country.
The Ronk is advocating for 23, but you're gonna have to talk to Audric Estime about that, big dog. But while we're on the subject of RJ Harvey, kind of cool. Over the weekend, Sean Payton tweeted out, Sean Payton's daughter, Megan, for those who don't know, is in the media business, sports journalism, online media. And let me see if I can blow this up again. I'll do, in case you guys missed it. We put an article out on it, so I'm sure most of you have seen it. And there's a meme floating around, but this is what head coach Sean Payton tweeted on the 16th. So this was Friday. When your daughter likes your second round pick, exclamation points, at RJ Harvey. She works for FanDuel currently as a on-screen host type thing for their digital stuff. And apparently Sean Payton was getting lampooned in the comments of this particular tweet, which I'm not going to pull up for whatever reason, poor choice of words. I think that's people really like choosing to take it that direction. I don't think it's a poor choice of words in any way, shape, or form. But it's cool. The Payton family, Zach, is behind the RJ Harvey pick.
I don't understand like the poor choice of words. How you can misinterpret that? Likes him like sexualizing that.
I guess
it's crazy.
I guess, but you really have to stretch to get there. It's like, hey, get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, that says more about those people. I think it's a great tweet, and I just like seeing Sean celebrate his new running back. Chad, he's going to be a beast.
It goes to show you, it's kind of a reminder that the Broncos knew what they were doing with Harvey at 60. It wasn't like oh crap, we've traded back twice. What are we going to do? Harvey. It was, they had their eye on him, and they had the epiphany and the aha moment, Zach, during their scouting on film. And Peyton's like, okay, keep this quiet. He's got some big plans for RJ Harvey. And yes, Chase, that would be off the top of my head. I would argue that's probably the most famous running back to rock 37 was Sean Alexander back in the day. What was that, 2005 year that he led the Seahawks to the Super Bowl to get busted by the Steelers, who had to go through Denver that year in the AFC title game to get there. So it should have been Broncos Seahawks, and the Broncos would have won that game if Jake Plummer doesn't, Zach, turn in like the worst game of his career in the biggest possible moment. It was such a letdown.
I think he won the rushing title that season or the year before. He was a good running back. If RJ could be anywhere close to what Sean Alexander was in Seattle, they're going to be very happy.
Gene William, what's up, dude? Good to see you on Facebook. Checking in. What's up, boys? Just looks like RJ is going to be a stud.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Like I don't think I'm going to show you guys something. I don't think we'll get copyright claim for this because it's not broadcasted film. But I just want to show you something. This dude's Twitch is redonkulous. Like, check out this jump cut. Scott, I want your thoughts on this. I mean, we watched him at the Senior Bowl week. I was a lot more enamored at the time. Scott sold me so much on Jarquez, which I'm still sold on him. I think he's going to be a stud. Like, people are going to look back on this class and go, why didn't someone draft Hunter sooner? But anyway, check this out. So this is who captured this. I don't know if this was John Frisella. I don't know. But check this out. Just running through drills. Like that second cut, dude. Watch the second jump cut. Boom, gone, dude. Like that kind of twitchy explosion, that lateral agility. Broncos have been missing that kind of stuff, Zach, for a long time. And then you get to the quads, the Quadzilla. It's like almost as big as my freaking waist.
Yeah, he's going to be a beast. He could take a hit as well. People say he's too small or too light or whatever to play in the NFL. He is rocked up, 5'8", whatever he is, plus 200 pounds. He is going to be a stud in the Sean Payton offense. I'm very happy about this pick.
Phil, I'm glad you found us on Facebook, my friend. Once again, the main account wasn't wanting to connect for whatever reason, but so good to see you, brother. Saying good evening, Chad, Zach, Deacon, Scott. What 4 games are you looking forward to the most? I've got Titans week 1, Chiefs week 17. That's the Christmas game. Bengals week 4, Commanders week 13, Buckham MHH for life, Broncos for life. Zach, that is a pretty solid 4. What do you say?
Yeah, you named him. I guess I get, the excitement over week one. I would swap out maybe the Eagles game just because I know it might be the toughest test, but it's a litmus test for the Broncos as well, Chad. Year 2 of Bo Nix, year 3 of Sean Payton, where they stand against the NFL's best. Looking forward to week 7, selfishly. Hopefully Russell Wilson will be under center for the Giants. The Broncos play them at Empower Field, but I think you named him there. I am so pumped for the Jaden versus Bo, the primetime light, Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a big, big game with playoff implications.
This game is going to be dope just because by this point, we're all going to be so football. Like, we'll have 3 preseason games to start satiating it, but just so football deprived that week 1's going to be awesome. But I'm not going to count it just for the sake of he already did. I'm going to say that Bengals game is going to be the first one for me. So there's one. Bengals on Monday Night Football. As a litmus test, I'll throw in this Eagles game because they are the defending champs. It's on the road. So there are multiple obstacles or factors going against the Broncos, not the least of which is where do they have their minds? Is their minds on facing the Eagles, or are they looking ahead to this trip across the pond? Not that they're fearing the Jets, but just all the logistical BS that's going to come with having to make that trip. So Eagles, and then I'm going to come down here to that Texans game is a contender. I'm not sure yet, though, because, yeah, I got to include that Christmas game, and then I'm going to include this Commanders game. So, I don't know. That's, I guess, the only way I really deviated, Zach, was the Philly game, I guess.
Yeah, Phil nailed it there. The Monday night Bengals game at Empower Field, the Broncos could get some revenge after that heartbreaking loss in overtime last season. But the Broncos schedule is going to be exciting. It's setting up, I think, Chad, for a 11-12 win season.
Shiloh saying on Super Chat, thank you, buddy. Says, evening, I bought my tickets for the Jags in December. So that is I got to remind myself, I don't have it locked in memory yet. So week 16, December 21st. I would say for those of you who live in Denver or who are planning on making the trip for the meet and greet, we're probably going to do week 7. That's probably going to be what it is. Around, Zach, the angle of the Russell Wilson revenge game. There's no counting on or guaranteeing that Russ is going to be the quarterback by the time we get to week 7. But I have a pretty good feeling if he stays healthy through the summer and preseason and the early part of the regular season, that's probably who the Giants will trot out. But Jackson Dart, they're going to want to get him on the field sooner than later. And you know that Russ isn't going to be enough to it won't be like last year where it's a really good team around him in Pittsburgh, Zach. And so why not let him, with all of his experience, be the guy to carry you down the stretch and, whatever. He was hurt, for example. That's the only reason he wasn't the starter when the Broncos faced the Steelers in week 2. Otherwise, it would have been Wilson, not Justin Fields. The New York situation, look, of course, they're going to tell people, yeah, we got our eye on making the playoffs this year, but they know they're not really in a competition mode in 2025. So as long as he keeps them plausibly competitive, he'll still be the starter by week 7. But Zach, there's no guarantee. The Giants are still a pretty bad roster, and they're going to want to see how their first round pick looks.
And that game is right before the trade deadline, I'm pretty sure, as well, Chad. So there's a lot of storylines going into it, even if the Giants are another dumpster fire. And no matter if they start Russ, there's the obvious storyline there. Jackson Dart, young quarterback versus young quarterback. And didn't they sign Jameis Winston as well? They have like 10 QBs on the roster. So if he starts, that would be plenty exciting. We saw what happened the last time he faced Denver, that Broncos Monday night classic.
Shootout, baby.
Yeah.
According to this Google search not a Google search, according to NFL operations, the trade deadline. Well, no, hold on. That's not. Hold on. What do we got here? CBS Sports. Let me see. I think it's November 11th, Zach, is the trade deadline.
This year.
Yeah. It's a little bit later. Let me see. I'm not sure. That's just a Google AI. I'm not seeing an actual. I want to find that. Where is it? But anyway, we'll see. All right, Zach. One other topic I wanted to get your take on. I mean, not that there's all that much to sink our teeth into on this particular subject, but still, it's a shakeup. It's a reorganization. George Paton, after that front office was literally headhunted through the NFL hiring cycle earlier this offseason, and even recently, right, with Brian Stark leaving to go to Vegas. I mean, there was a lot of turnover in the front office. The Broncos, Zach, announced a bunch of new moves, most of which were promotions, guys getting promoted. But here's the main headline takeaway. The new assistant GM, because Darren Mugie, is it Mugie or Mugie? I can never remember.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I think, yeah, who cares? It doesn't matter. But he joined the Jets as their GM, vacating the assistant GM spot, which was handed to a guy by the name of Reed Burkhardt, who over the last 3 years has been the Broncos director of player personnel. So he's the new GM in waiting, so to speak, of the Broncos. And for what it's worth, Burkhardt, Zach, goes way back with Paton. 13 years together in Minnesota when Paton came to Denver, followed him over here. So, like, that's his next number one. And Moog, I don't know, whichever way it's pronounced, he was kind of a holdover guy from a previous regime that was just really good at his job. But also, Zach, AJ Durso has been promoted to co-director of player personnel after 9 seasons as director of pro personnel. And then a couple of outside hires. You had the article for us at MHH. Cam Williams has been hired as the other co-director alongside Durso of player personnel. He came from the New England Patriots, has a couple of rings from their front office. And then Jordan Dizon, who used to be a Bronco for a lot of years in the scouting department, left a while back to go to Philadelphia, helped them win a Super Bowl. He's back, Zach, as the director of pro scouting. And so there's a few other minor shakeups, but the Bronco front office now has been officially reorganized, front office / scouting department.
Yeah, I read tremendous things about Cam Williams as well. So the Broncos are getting another key mind in their front office. The thing about Burkhardt being the assistant GM now, I looked it up. George he just turned 55. That's still fairly young for a general manager. And I do wonder, Chad, if they're setting up a future succession plan like the Pittsburgh Steelers have done, the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think George Paton's giving up the chair though for quite a while.
Yes, Lady D jumping in. Thank you for the very generous super chat tonight. She says, hello, Chad, Zach, and Scott. So week 7 is the meet and greet? Need to know for sure so I can buy my tickets. Yes, week 7. That's it. We don't have like a big flyer announcement yet, but that's what it's going to be. Week 7, Giants. That is October 19th. Yeah, October 19th, week 7, Broncos, Giants. It's a 2:05 kickoff local time. So that's the dealio. It's going to be a gas. She goes on to say, is Nick Bonito or Zach Allen, have they been given a contract yet? No. So excited for the season to start. MHH for life. Zach, what's the latest we've heard on the Bonito or Allen contract front? Because there hasn't been much, of an update.
No, maybe you've heard more than I have. Like the last thing George Paton talked about before the draft was that they'll talk after the draft, and now it's after the draft, and we haven't heard word one of anything going on. So I assume they're working behind the scenes, Deanna, and thank you again so much as always. Week 7, can't wait to meet you, shake your hand, and thank you for all you've done. I assume it's going to happen eventually. This is the problem, though, Chad, with having so many extension candidates. It's not just Bonito and Allen, JFM, Malcolm Roach, Cortland Sutton. It's a lot for George Paton to kind of work through at once.
Yeah, I mean, other than we've had a few high-profile people banging the tables for Nick Bonito, like, hey, sign him. It's only going to he's only going to get more expensive. And Allen having some press lately, which it was kind of, who was it he was talking to?
Oh, Chris Long, the Greenlight
Thank
pod.
you. Yes, Chris Long, where he had a fun little segment there with a little bit of an expletive, but it was good nature. He was, he's just kind of talking. It was like two guys pretend the camera wasn't on type thing, even though they both knew the camera was on. It was just like two guys talking. It was really cool. But you got to be careful with paying Bonito. I'll be surprised. I'm not going to say I don't think, Zach, that the Broncos will pay him before the season starts, but I would be somewhat surprised if the Broncos end up paying Bonito before the season, just because, hey, yes, former second-round pick, really turned a corner last year. It wasn't just the sacks. He had so many big plays in crunch time, including those huge game swingers where he scored touchdowns with the takeaways. But after 2 years of relative, Zach, obscurity in terms of, I mean, guys, he wasn't even a starter to open the season last year. That was Baron Browning. He was coming in relief of Baron Browning, and he wouldn't have been a starter if they didn't decide, or if he didn't, Browning get nicked up, and then they're like, oh, we got an offer, we'll trade him, see you later. And Benito, the way is open for you, and boom, he took it and ran with it. But if I'm that GM, and again, this is Zach relative also to how much pressure am I getting from like his agent? Am I constantly getting called about this? Not that that would change it that much, but if it's like this huge problem in my ear all the time, maybe I look at it a little bit harder. But I want to see how he looks the first quarter of the season. I'm going to have a framework in place. I'm going to have spoken with his agents and get like a general framework in place. And as soon as I see what I want to see, sign him up.
I could absolutely see that play out. And, I was thinking about it, kind of harkens back to Shane Ray. And I understand Benito might be a better player, higher ceiling. He doesn't have the injury concerns, yada, yada. But Shane Ray looked really good in his first year and then never that good ever again. And again, injuries were a factor in that. But I do wonder, Chad, Indiana, if the Broncos want to take a wait-and-see approach with Benito. He had one good year. Is it a flash in the pan? Is it the exception, not the rule? If he starts to perform well, though, if he racks up 3 against the Titans and 3 against the Colts, then they should go to the bargaining table and get it done, because at that point, he would only be more expensive as the weeks and months went on. So it's kind of tricky. If they want to wait, they can't wait that long.
Yeah, that was Shane Ray's first year as a starter, 2016, because Ware couldn't stay healthy. That was Ware's last year, and he got hurt early. And so the Broncos were like, okay, it's the Vaughn Shane Ray show. He had 8 sacks that year. Nick Benito's almost doubled it, right, in what he did last year as a second-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. Plus, he gave you that added impact as a takeaway artist and scoring twice. So I understand the argument for it. And I'm not here, Zach, saying that the Broncos shouldn't pay Nick Benito, like one-year wonder. That's not what I'm saying. But from the pragmatic perspective of what's best for the team and hedging and shielding against the possibility of it being a one-year wonder, let me just see it a little bit. Like, let me get 4 weeks into the season. If I'm seeing the pressures and you got a couple of sacks, even if you don't have the sacks, if I'm seeing that consistent pressure again and you're still holding up at least moderately well as an edge defender against the run, roll it out, baby, because we need that playmaking impact on the edge.
But that's why there's the argument to pay Zach Allen first, because for 2 years now, Zach Allen has shown that he can do it. He's proven he's consistent. He's proven he's a game changer. He's proven he's worthy of that extension. Benito, it's one season, and we don't really know what's going to happen for 25. So I could see it both ways, absolutely.
No doubt about it. But yeah, Lady D, circle that week 7. You're safe to start banking on the week 7 Giants game. And just for the sake of making it interesting, a little bit more interesting, that is, I'm hoping it's Russ and we get that revenge angle. It would be fun. All right, guys, we'll call this your 2-minute warning for any burning questions or topics to get it in the chat. We're going to go through. Zach's got a few messages for you here, and then we're going to take another look or two at the chat before we dip.
Tremendous installment, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out mhhmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, baby. I'm just looking here. Phil jumping in saying on Facebook, what's happened to the Orange and Blue Pod with Ron and Dylan? Just some scheduling stuff that they're taking a couple weeks. Call it a vacay. It'll be back soon. I don't have a specific date. I'm not certain if it's going to be start up again next weekend, but it's not done with. It's just in the off season. If guys have things cooking, it's not as big a deal to me that they take a weekend or two off. if this was football season, we'd be replaced. Like if a guy was on vacation or something, we'd be making sure we have a Saturday night show. We'd find replacement hosts, even if it's me or Zach or someone stepping in. But being that it's the off season, we just kind of let it roll. But they'll be back. They'll be back. Don't worry about that, Phil. And also David was asking me about that yesterday on an email. All right, Todd, he wants to know, he says, we got time to negotiate before we commit long-term to Benito, so why rush? That's what happened with Russ, and it's a mistake we're still paying for. Excellent point, my friend. I couldn't say it any better. Stream Guy, great show. And chat guys, hit the like button all. Appreciate you, buddy. I think, Zach, as I examine the chat here, I think we've kind of hit everything all the crucial topics to tonight's show. So, Stream Guy, I guess Dylan's just chilling. LOL. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It'll be back soon. Ron, thank you, pal. Always great to see you in the chat. And like I've said before, it's not an MHH pod stream if you're not with us. So
that's great. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for your support and contributing to the conversation every night. A mile high salute. Special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars and supporters helping us keep the lights on tonight, like the Lady D, like the Papa Bear, the Ronk, the Duchess, Michaela Parker, love you. Eric Holt, Gene William on Facebook, Phil McLaughlin on Facebook, Shiloh Heesh. Stoked for you to get to your first ever Bronco game. That's really cool, buddy. The Jags game, that's awesome. Stoked for you. But Zach and I will be back tomorrow night, so we'll see what kind of news, topics, things are kicked up. I did find it kind of interesting real quick here, Zach, before we dip on out of here. I was kind of going, you know what, I need to write something today. So I was writing up an article. I'm like, what should I write about? And I wanted to write up a Bo Nix article relative to, I was reminded that about this time last year, so in about a week or so is when Pro Football Focus will start ranking their position groups. And I was reminded, Zach, that a year ago, Pro Football Focus, I want to say it was Trevor Sikkema, God bless him, ranked the Broncos quarterback room dead last in the NFL. And so it was an article just kind of talking about some of the freezing cold takes that Bo Nix exposed after year one with the Broncos. And it was a fun trip down memory lane. But think about that, Zach. First, before he even took a snap, Broncos had the worst quarterback room in the NFL, according to PFF. It's going to be curious, even though it doesn't matter. It's going to be fun to see how the different the news aggregators like the ESPNs, the PFFs, the NFL.coms, where these rankings look or how they shape up for the Broncos in 2025.
Yeah, and sites like The Ringer, who over the course of the season, Chad, had Bo Nix ranked below like Andy Dalton, Bryce Young, quarterbacks that were beds, Jameis Winston, and I think Bo Nix got the last laugh, and he'll get an even heartier laugh in 2025, making me a fat plate of crow.
No doubt. All right, guys, we love you. Zach and I will see you tomorrow night.
Have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.